Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, have you recovered from your Caribbean trip?
No, no,
No, perfect.
definitely not. From babysitting on vacation to, back to taking care of my child, which is basically like babysitting drunk people. So,
Man, that sounds familiar.
yeah, yeah, I know it's weird.
So
I used to be the drunk guy getting babysat. Now I am the one doing the babysitting. So, yeah,
that's adulthood, bro.
pretty much. Pretty much. Toddlers are basically just drunk people.
Absolutely. Uh, Drunk people and babies, like if you don't watch them, they're gonna shit on the floor and get into stuff.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna fall into the shit they put on the floor or the throw up. Yeah,
All right, man. So I'm just gonna jump right in. I got some questions.
cool.
So Sapateiro Invitational 30,
Yep,
10K,
yep,
205 pounders,
yep.
16-man bracket.
16-man bracket.
Dude, tell me about it.
Full EBI rules. So, 10-minute rounds, 2 minutes overtime. We're pushing the sub by doing the same way EBI does, where like the champ gets paid for each sub in regulation. So 10K max with all subs in regulation, 2,500 per sub. So if you sub half the guys, you make $5,000. If you sub all of them, you make $10,000. I think it really forces the action. I mean, if we go into that shit from last night, which I mean, dude, like I was talking to Mike Sears this morning, and like you guys know, I'm not a huge Flow fan most of the time, but like they did the best they could with what that was. So
Right.
the best way to incentivize action for EBI rules or no time limit is to put the emphasis on finishing financially. So like if you don't get the finish, you don't get paid as much. Same with our stalling calls. Like we give you a lot of, actually we haven't had to use any stalling calls yet, but anytime there's a stalling call, we basically go to that pride yellow card, red card system, right? So yellow card is a 10% fine on your purse. Second yellow
Nice.
card is 20%. So you lose 30% total for your second yellow card. And then the red card is you're done. You're disqualified. So, 60-man bracket, EBI rules, just with that stalling call. And then the finisher's mollywop rule. So we're addressing that, domination and regulation. So if you dominate the entire regulation, I'm talking about dominate, right? Like multiple sub attempts, multiple fucking, like you're holding him out. Like basically what Gordon did to Pedro last night. If you do that,
Oh,
you don't have to go to overtime. You just win.
oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that keeps people from trying to hold out till like, oh, I can win in overtime. Like,
yeah.
we don't want to see that.
No, and I mean, like, dude, there's a lot of good guys that are great at overtime, and like they're not bad dudes. But I am not paying you to sit there with your back taken for 10 minutes and then get a shot on something. Plus, I mean, like the whole reason I threw this tournament is it's on my birthday, and I wanted to see it. So I was like, okay, like maybe we can make some money. I mean, we're definitely gonna make some money, but like I'm putting up $10,000. Like it costs a lot to run these events, and it's a big stressor and a big event. And I just don't want to be bored on my fucking birthday. So if you're bored,
Nice.
I'm gonna fucking fine you. I'll be booing you because I'll probably be drunk, and it'll be.
Mm. Oh, then you need to sit right next to me. I love taboo.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I want to be in the crowd because the venue we have, and this is perfect for me because talk about a fucking glow up. We're at the Dallas Bowl in Tampa, Florida, and I got kicked out of there multiple times for underage drinking, and got the venue and using it for my 10Ks. So talk about a fucking glow up from getting kicked out of the bar to renting out the bar. But the bar is great because it's got a ground level, which is where most people are going to be, a second floor with a cutout above the dance floor, which is where the mats are going to be. So we're going to have all the athletes upstairs, no crowd upstairs. They can watch from the balcony on the second floor if they want to. So I'm trying to figure out if I want to sit in the crowd, sit upstairs, or there's a couple private back rooms that I might be into as well. But I got to make sure my voice is heard.
So it's not just that 16-man bracket, right? Like we got some other matches on the card.
Yeah, we're doing an undercard. We're doing a 14 quintet tournament. We got Grace Tampa South, Minnesota Jiu-Jitsu, Team Carvalho, and then who's the last team? Gracie Bradenton. So those 4
Nice.
we're going to have a quintet tournament, and that's going to open up the night with the opening rounds of the quintet tournament. We'll probably have a couple undercard matches after that, nothing crazy. Then we're going to go straight into the tournament. I have some pretty crazy super fights set already for in between the matches, but I don't want to have more than 30 matches. You know, we're starting at 5. We're going to try to be out of there by 9 because, you know, it's a Sunday. So, yeah, probably 30 matches total between the quintet, the tournament, and the super fights I have.
Dude, I'm stoked.
That's
Like,
fun.
dude, that whole weekend for me is going to be fantastic. You know, coming up to coach, you know, and hang out.
Yeah, hang out, teach some seminars. And Nicky Rod's in town, too. He's teaching some seminars at Gracie Tampa South and Gracie Brandon that weekend, too. So, like, there's a whole bunch of guys in town. I'll probably talk to Nicky, see if he wants to come out and hang out. I mean, he's fun. He likes to have a good time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's going to be a fun jiu-jitsu weekend. I mean, a lot of guys in town teaching seminars. I mean, that's the thing with throwing these events. Like, from the beginning, like, when I started in 2015, like, these guys would come to town. And, like, back then, Southwest Florida, at least, like, my area, Sarasota, Bradenton, was super traditional. And we didn't really have a lot of the leg lock game, a lot of the no-gi game and stuff like that. And we've gotten to grow it tremendously with these guys coming in to compete because they're always trying to make some extra money with seminars, and we all get to benefit from that and learn from those guys. And now you're coming up here, coaching, teaching seminars. The competitors are coming up, teaching seminars. So it's a good time.
No, I love, like, there's been such a change, you know. You know, we've both been doing this a long time. So there's such a big change. Like, anybody can do seminars now. You know, like, anybody can make a living doing jiu-jitsu now if they're willing to, like, put in the work, you know. And we don't all have to, like, you know, I'm not a competitor. You know, I'm, like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that, like, some people have kind of paved the way, you know, to get us paid doing what we love to do.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like, there's so many ways to make money in jiu-jitsu now. It's not even just, like, the competitors were always, like, you know, not making as much as coaches. It was always like,
Right.
hey, you want to make money, you got to run a school. Now competitors are making more money. Now you said, like, guys who aren't even competitors but can prove themselves as coaches are making money doing seminars. DVDs are out there. You can run events. You can do a whole bunch of shit. Like, I just set up for the event tonight. Like, we're doing that. That's the other thing I want to talk about too. Is like we have
RSO.
Yeah, RSO, real sub only, and so with Sapateiro, like we have an open weight champion. That's John Combs, and we have like catch champs and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna kind of do away from the catch wrestling for a little bit and go into a little bit more of this sub only plus the 10K tournaments. But like we saw last night, it's tough to do sub only in a venue, you know.
Right.
So what I'm doing is once a month we're gonna have the open weight title defended, and it's a good way to get whoever's the champ paid. You know, like they have a consistent frame and they have a consistent like match schedule. Like I want to have it defended once a month. So tonight we got John Combs versus Patrick Lucas, who's a phenomenal dude. He's over in Minnesota. He just took out most of the team of Team Carvalho on the last quintet. I think he took out 4 or 5 guys.
Oh, wow.
Guy's a monster. New black belt, younger guy, like 22, 23, had a lot of success in Brazil in the IBJJF scene. So he's a real tough guy, has a real fun style. He's very exciting. And then, I mean, we all know John Combs. He's a monster, ADCC trials champ, one of the top guys in the world. So Combs is the champ. Patrick coming in and trying to take the belt. And we're going to go no time limit, sub only, you know. And you can't do that in a venue. So, like, I got the gym set up. Like, we've been doing it for so long, I kind of structured my gym in a way that I have it already set up for my streaming. I have it set up where I can make it look real nice with all my lights, my smoke, my banners, and it looks like a real kind of Kumite style vibe. And
Right.
we'll go once a month. So tonight, and then I'm thinking the end of August we'll have the next one.
Okay. Where can we watch Real Sub Only?
Yeah, it's going to be free on the Sapateiro Facebook, and I'll probably put it on Sapateiro Instagram too. So, yeah,
Nice.
it's free. Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, that's fantastic. So, be for free. You're going to get to see John Combs compete tonight. That's fantastic. Man, that's a lot of jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu this weekend, man. Those matches last night. Man, I really enjoyed J-Rod last night.
Yeah, that was a good match last night. That August 7th weekend has a lot of jiu-jitsu too, because that's when they're doing the rematch of Felipe and Noah.
Ooh,
same days we're doing the 10K. So like, dude, if you haven't seen that Who's Number One card, that one's pretty fucking
I
stacked.
saw it. I saw it get posted today. Jacob Couch and J Rod are on it. That's going to be fun. Yeah, I really want to see that Gordon Ryan match.
Gordon. The other one too is Marigelli versus Lovato. That's gonna be a fun.
Yes, that's a great matchup.
Yep. Yeah. And dude, like, you got to give some credit to Mike Sears because like, Who's Number One kind of started out boring the first few times, you know, and then he kind of listened. Like, they stopped using Wagner. They stopped using these guys that are just like trying to fucking play handsies for 20 minutes and not compete, you know. So like, they're listening to the fans, and I mean, that's where we're at too, man. Like, it's not the best in the world don't make the most money, you know. Like, you can be 8-time IBJJF world champion and still be broke, or you can be a fucking finisher. Like the example I always give is like Gary Tonin, like, never won a world championship black belt, never won ADCC. He's taken bronze. He's done like really well, but he never became that black belt world champion. But before Gordon, he was the highest paid guy in jiu-jitsu because he was the most exciting. He was always going out there. He was staying active, you know. So like, there's a lot more room now for competitors to make money. Like, I know I'm willing to pay guys that are entertaining and will sell a match rather than just win, you know. Like, if you're boring, you're not coming back to my show. Who's Number One starting to do that shit too? It's like, if you're boring and you don't sell, you're not coming back. You know, like,
boring matches, like, it stops people from watching jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
You know, and the more eyes on jiu-jitsu, the more we all get paid. Like, this is important.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're seeing it, especially with ADCC this year and Gordon and all that stuff. Like, we're getting some real sponsors in jiu-jitsu. We got some like real businessmen that are putting money in, that are like growing it in a financially stable way. Because like, it used to be just guys with money throwing it at the athletes, and it wasn't sustainable. Like, ADCC wasn't sustainable for decades. You know, it was like the sheiks throwing that money in there, and they were betting on. They were giving these guys fucking Rolexes and cars on the back and shit, and it was cool. But like, that's not how you build a sustainable model for a sport. You know, now like with Mo, with Who's Number One, with EBI, with Fight Pass, even like these independent shows like Jordan up in Iowa. Like, there's a bunch of these shows that are sustainable, and it lets a lot of guys get paid who may not be the best in the world, but they're fucking good and they're entertaining.
Dude, I love it. It's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? I think it's so cool that like you could talk about jiu-jitsu now and people know what you're talking about. Whereas like 10 years ago, you know, they made like it, like the old joke, like they made karate chop action.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh yeah, I know that. My 8-year-old's a black belt, like, you know, and
I'm sure
I love it.
It's supposed to be like, I'm trying to make this a little bit more spectator friendly, you know, and like, we got some real good commentators for this one. Like, Jay Redbudo is coming down for August 7th. He's gonna be commentating, and then I'm gonna throw probably Gino in there and probably my buddy Matt, because like, I do think it is necessary. And like, for all the shit Third Coast did and their failures and stuff like that, I think part of what they were trying to do with the commentary team and some of that stuff was make it more not fan friendly, but like available and understandable and relatable for a person who got drugged there by their friends and family, you know? So, like, you need to have some very knowledgeable guys, but you also need guys in there fucking having a good time, cracking jokes, and making it relatable. It's like, oh, I don't know what the fuck is going on right now, but that was fucking cool, you know?
Right.
We need more of that if we want this to start making some money and shit like that. So, yeah, like, this show in August, I'm going to make sure it's real fan-friendly. It's going to be a lot of action, quick stalling calls, a lot of money online. We got fucking killers. We got so I'm going to announce it now. So the Roll Forever with Betty, she sponsored, and she got an invite. Her guy, Jared, got called up to the Navy, so he's out. But the replacement is Giancarlo Bodini, and that dude's a fucking. We just stopped last night, like, taking care of J-Rod.
Bro.
Like, he's in the bracket. Quentin, Dan Martinez, Hunter Colvin, Jason Rao, fucking El Monstro. Like, there's all these guys. Like, I have the qualifier tomorrow in Ohio that's going to open up the last spot, and I still have the schismatic invite. So, like, tomorrow we're going to find out who the 14th guy or the 15th guy is, and then next week I'm going to announce who schismatic puts in, and then we got our full 16-man bracket. And there's a lot of fucking hitters, and they're all going after it, and they want to make that money. They want to make a fucking name, or not a name, but they want to make a statement, you know?
Dude, I love it.
Yeah. I've always
I love it.
I keep inquiring about this too. Is like Sapateiro is like, it may not be the most well-known tournament, but it's one of the fucking hardest. You know, like we have these guys that come in and they make names for themselves here. Like, and I'll never say like, oh, I made this guy. Like, no, these guys came in, and there's a whole bunch of these tournaments like us, like finishers. You know, Midwest finishers on an Invitational used to be like that. Oh God, I'm trying to remember Boogie's tournament on the West Coast. Ultimate Mat Warriors. It's all like that. This is where you cut your teeth, man. And this is where people make names for themselves. Gordon Ryan, first show. Oliver Taza, second show. Craig Jones was on the second show. We had fucking Wagner on the second show with Gordon. Like, dude, the entire B team jiu-jitsu guys. Like, we had Nicky Rod right after he won trials. He had a match with Chase Rome. You know, like, these guys are coming in here, and they're getting tough matches, you know? And this is where they're cutting their teeth. They're putting on great performances, and you never know who's going to pop out. But the point being, like, Sapateiro is one of those super hard tournaments that not everybody knows about, you know, because we're not on one of the big networks. We're not on Flow. We're not on Fight Pass. We're not on Fight TV. Like, we're staying independent. But, like, I like that grunginess. I like that kind of Kumite, shady shit, you know, or not shady because, like, I'm not shady, but you know what I mean. Like,
dude, it brings in hungry athletes.
Exactly. And there's always a lot of upsets, man. Like, I remember our first big one back, we had Quentin versus Curran in the main event in the 155 bracket, and we had Robert Deagle versus Jordan Hawley first round, you know, and Deagle came in with a shit ton of hype, and super great guy, great competitor, but Jordan fucking put that hype out, you know, so like,
yeah,
guys that have names, and you got these guys that are hungry and they're just trying to come in and fucking take out some of these guys, so like, don't be surprised if there's some upsets. Don't be surprised if like the number 1 seed gets taken out by the number 8 seed, you know, like, I'm making up matches that I want to see. I don't see these guys like, oh, number 1 versus number 16. Like, no. If there's a match I want to see, I'm going to fucking make it.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
Good, man. Yeah, I'm super stoked to come up. Thank you so much for jumping on with me. And, I mean, obviously, I knew a bunch of what was going on, but I wanted everybody else to know because people need to know, like, Sapateiro Invitational, that's the place. Like, if you want to see the people you've never seen before, that's the place to go.
And like the future legends, man. Like, I know so many guys are like, man, I remember watching Gordon when he was a brown belt, like new black belt on your show. Like, you never know who's going to turn into a superstar.
That's right.
So, like, you never know. You show up to this event, 2 years later, this guy's fucking winning ADCC, you know? So you never know. Plus, I gave you that little snippet. Bodini is in there. Giancarlo, I don't even know how to fucking pronounce his last name, but Giancarlo from New Wave, he's hopping in the bracket, and no one else knows that but you guys now. So
that's anybody else you need to shout out?
Where is it? Schismatic, you guys, Grappler Soap, all those guys. We got all the sponsors of this event. We got Roll Forever, Schismatic. We have Hector Roman Tattoos. Man, there's so many fucking good guys that are helping support us. You show love, all my affiliates from, you know, UK, Israel, all over the US, down in USVI. You know, it's a team effort. You know, I wouldn't be able to do this without a support system. And now, like, for the first time, I have a really good support system helping on the back end. Like Ron running the social media, helping with the overlays. I got a good camera crew. Kayla fucking putting everything in spreadsheets, and like, I'm not flying by the seat of my pants anymore, you know. It's
nice.
The foundation to run the business the way I do, but with a little bit more stability, you know.
Nice. All right, right before we get off,
yep.
I just want to say this thing, and I don't want us to get into it because I want to come back later. But Grapple Island. Yep. U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yep.
That's coming this year.
Yeah, it's looking like last weekend of September. And we got 4 out of the 8 guys picked. Once I get through the August 7th event, we'll fucking get it. They fly here. The guys compete first round, and then 4 guys come to the island. And we'll get into it more in a few weeks. But, yeah, it's going to be wild. We got some dope places to stay, dope places to compete. Gonna fucking go get some Jeep stuck, fucking swim, have a good time, and
nice.
Gonna be recorded and edited, and it's gonna be life changing.
All right, guys, you heard it here. Grapple Islands coming Sapateiro 30, August 7th. Real sub only tonight. All the jiu-jitsu you need.
Yeah.
So, Josh, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, dude.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Sir.
All right, guys. That was it. Josh LeDuc, Sapateiro Invitational. Sapateiro Invitational 30, 10K tournament, August 7th. RSO tonight on Sapateiro's Facebook page, probably on their IG as well. Grapple Island coming in September. Y'all aren't even ready for that. And, thanks for tuning in. Call your favorite training partner. Let's make jiu-jitsu.